Oh, okay. Give you that blue argonite energy. Well, good morning. Do not change the channel until you are grooving. Good morning, everyone. If you've never watched me before, I go by Eight Wind is Timeless. I'm the holder of the sacred infinite ball game given to us, but created by the Hero Twins. I am also the Galactic Daddy-O, and I'm welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio. So tonight's beer is Alaskan Ale. So pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. Good excuse to drink another beer. Well, good morning, everyone. Run it up. What's happening? Edward, how are you doing? Hey, Lorenzo, what's happening? Native American Heritage Day. I'm glad you brought that up. Been watching the show Yellowstone. And Yellowstone, what's funny is, these are basically like the people here. They're Lakotas or Dakotas. Lakotas and Dakotas. And they said they were looking at some land that the Europeans now owned and saying how their grandfathers used to sleep in this certain part of his land. Because when the government took over, it took the land from the natives. And they were saying, we've been here 10,000 years. Really? Now the natives was never saying they was indigenous. They've always said they was natives. Never indigenous, always natives. And so in this Yellowstone, they say we've been here for 10,000 years. Yeah. More like 100, maybe 150 years. 10,000 years. Come on. You can't get away with that anymore. Them is basically Canadians. I mean, that's where most of these people came from. They came from Canada. Now we know Genghis Khan came some of his people came into the country, so we have a mixture of that. But again, if you look up the word native, whoa, heating my stuff up. Shit would have blown up near this salt lamp. Blew my damn stuff up. Damn. So we know natives haven't been in America very long. Not as old or not as long as the tribes that was on the eastern coast that met these pilgrims, that met the English, the real fight. Because the real fight and the first real enemy was really, the Spanish, of course. But the Spanish didn't bother us because remember, on the coast, it was first the Dutch. Remember, New Amsterdam is what New York was called at one time. But it was just funny watching to hear the natives say that. Natives never wanted to be indigenous before. But now, okay, you just really. You had all this time to come in here. You had all this time to come in here. And then you wait till I broadcast to come in here. Why is that?
You've been broadcasting for like 2 hours.
Okay. Well, my son is being rude again, like they was the other night when they ruined my show the other night, him and his goofy friends that he couldn't control. And he decides, we've been here sitting the last 2 hours and he ain't been coming in here. But now he decides to make noise and come in here. When I decide, I always go on between 12 and 12:30. When you come here and make all that noise, and it's like totally disrespectful. It is. It's totally disrespectful. I'm about to throw this shit at you. Keep it up. I'm not in that mood tonight. This is one of the moods where I will go off. So keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Because I don't appreciate this. Who else has come in? Hey, PJ, what's happening? Omex the Omen have been here for billions of years. Don't turn that shit on. I mean, really.
It's 1 minute.
Really. You come and make all this damn noise. And you could have did this like 2 hours ago. And you wait till now.
You told me 2 hours ago you were streaming.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. Quit lying. You heard me streaming and you came in here because you was
I
mad.
have a headset on.
No, you lying. You lying.
Why would I take
You
my
lying.
headset
Why
off?
would you
I've
come
been
in here when I'm
party
trying
for
to stream?
Like an hour and a half.
Why would you come in here when I'm trying to stream?
Like 3 hours.
Okay, why didn't you stay in there then?
What are you talking? Because I got hungry.
You got all that beer in there. Just drink that shit. Well, what are you coming out here for?
Disgusting. I'm hungry.
Yeah, you had all this time to come here. I knew Michigan was going to beat Ohio State. Michigan won by 15. Harbaugh was 1-5 against OSU, and 47 is the 15th prime. Also, it was they didn't cover the 8, and so I made a little money today off the game. They didn't cover the 8 though, because it was they gave up 8, so that was a good bet. That was a good bet. Now I was thinking at home, it was no way they were going to cover 8 at home, or being on the road and covering 8. So yeah. I did not think. The Omen Black Jaguar Clan. Thank you. Finally caught you live. Okay, Sean. Well, thank you. Yeah, so it was a good game. My phone ain't right here. My best friend here was in Michigan and went to the game this morning. He sat in one of the end zones. He said he almost had to punch Ohio State dude. He said Ohio State dude had said some shit to him as he's walking to his seat. He went and got a hot dog and came back, and Ohio State dude that said some shit to him, and he's just like he's about to put that 1-2 on him. I wish I could bet on that game too. Oh yeah, I got money on that game. It's funny. I play pickleball with a guy. We've been playing the last couple of days because the weather's been decent, and he kept messing with me because he's from Ohio, and he kept messing with me. Come on, let's put some money on the game. So last night before we got done, we put a nice little wager. And his son was there too, so I bet them both. And so when I go in there, because he said the group, because it's a group of us that play. It's about 60 or 70 of us that really kind of get together. It's a group of us. That's the little local thing. We pay some money. We part of the pickleball community anyway. Yep. He said today everybody was going to play early, and I was like, I'm watching the game because the game came on at 11 o'clock here. So I watched the game here. I started watching the game. So when it got done, I went up there and he was like, oh, I hope. And it's like they still have the wind screens up. So you really, it's kind of hard when you walk up to see people. But he saw I wore the Maze shirt today when I went to play, messing with them. So they paid me. They was good people. They paid me. So, and today we played a cool little game. It's a game where it's only 3 people. They call it Cutthroat. So it's basically the server against 2 people. And the way we did it is you have to hustle. So like say I'm serving and I lose my serve, so I don't score. Well, the way it rotates, another person comes serves, and if that person only has 1 point, he changes position. No. If that person hasn't scored, he's going to serve to me. So it's like we had to hustle to get into our spot. So like you got to go from serving to get into the spot to receive the serve. And we was hustling like that. So that was a pretty good workout. That was a pretty good workout today. Any insight of what they're doing with the Lakers right now because they're struggling? I don't think Westbrook went through all that dress stuff for nothing. We ain't seen him in any, like really a lot of times the dress stuff will be a tale of some TV and commercial stuff that might come. But so far we haven't seen Westbrook in any of that. He did get the magazine thing, but who gets magazines anymore? Nobody really cares about that. So I don't know. A lot of things ritual looks like they are adding up for the Lakers. Carmelo is what? The number 2 in 3-point percentage, I think I saw last night. And a good game tonight was the Timberwolves beat Philadelphia tonight in overtime. Embiid's first game back, he had 42. And 42 was all over the numbers. Check this out. So Michigan won 42, 27? Who was the other 42? I want to say it was Alabama, 24. It was or the North Carolina State game. It was a couple games where just 24 or 42 was popping up all over today. So I noticed. I don't know if anybody else caught there. There was a lot of grip glove manipulation during the Dallas Cowboy and Las Vegas game yesterday. Yeah, more on the Vegas side. I'll tell you what I caught, and I'll share it, and maybe I'll release the video. So that you mentioned that about the Dallas game and the Las Vegas game. So I don't know if anybody caught this, but Renfro either caught a pass or did he catch a punt? Renfro maybe caught a pass, but I don't know. Remember if it was a pass or a punt. My phone is charging, so it's right there, and I don't really feel like getting it. But anyway, and maybe I'll release it. But Renfro went to get a ball back to the officials, and he had to break his hand loose of the ball. I don't know if anybody caught that yesterday. So Renfro was trying to hand the ball to the officials, and when he first went to hand it, it didn't hand. It didn't come off his glove. So he went to hand the ball to him, and it didn't come off the glove. And he kind of had to pop his hand off the glove. I don't know if anybody, or pop his hand off the ball. I don't know if anybody caught that yesterday. But as Renfro was handing the ball to the official, the ball wasn't coming out of his hand. And I don't remember if he had to pull it out. I'll release the video and y'all can judge. But it looked like the ball wasn't coming out of his hands. It looked like it was still activated. And I don't know if anybody caught that, but that was during the game yesterday. He caught a punt. Oh, you caught that? Yeah. Florida went over my nose with 24. There you go. Okay. Maybe that was the 24. I think I saw another one even. So, yeah. So you caught that. Yeah, it's like Renfro tries to get a ball back, and the ball is in his hand. The ball is stuck in his hand. So, hey, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's in here. What's happening, Jeffrey? I didn't see you come in here. Oh, there he is. What did you get your hands on an NBA hoop and backboard? I mean, this you talking about something that's probably worth 30,000, 40,000. So, I mean, the fair test would be this. The fair test would be this. Take a player to a gym that you know that they don't know about, have your own balls. That would be the clear thing, is to challenge any NBA player to go indoors, outdoors, again, seasonal, but to show they can duplicate these half-court shots where we know it can't be manipulated, where we can find a spot where they can't manipulate it. Limited people, very limited people. And there are ways that you can definitely throw off attraction kind of thing. So if they try to do something, we could put up stuff that would stop them from bringing in attractions and see them duplicate this. Now, I've said this before. I ain't saying dudes can't hoop. I watched Isaiah Thomas come in a tournament I played in. He scored 50 points in a half. He scored 50 points in a half of basketball. He came in the gym late and scored 50 in one half. But it wasn't mostly threes. It was mostly just going to the hole. So I'm never one to say dudes can't hoop. But what I'm saying is this consistent shooting from half court is all manipulated. That's why we go back to the Final Four when I caught him. Suggs, even us homie, watched him grow up. That was a clearly manipulated shot. That's why I showed one the other day. It's like in the game last night that I showed where the dude shoots the half-court shot, the end of the first quarter and right before halftime, both teams threw up long shots and hit them. Both teams threw up damn near half-court shots, and in the first quarter and in the second quarter, and they hit. So very, very speculative. Anytime we see Steph Curry hooping in public, it's a clip of him getting cooked and locked up. Well, you know what? Chet Holmgren, wasn't it Chet that Chet that's playing from Gonzaga, didn't Chet cross him over or something? And got by him, and Chet's 7 foot, and Curry's Dale's about 6'3", 6'4". Curry's smaller than that. Because Dale was taller than both his sons. So I think Steph is 6'2", 6'3". Dale's about 6'4", 6'3 and a half, 6'4". Yeah, he's not playing too much. Curry's not playing too much summer rec ball. And a lot of dudes to heal. That's like if you really looked at Charles Barkley, how he only had a peak of a few years, really, if you looked at his peak, because he really didn't work on his game. I mean, if it wouldn't have been for the Olympics, he told you himself, this dude wasn't in no summer tournaments or nothing like that. I mean, this dude was limited anyway. The NBA, see, I've said this before. The NBA and playing against better players make you better. He was a big fat dude that the league made better. Just playing against good competition made him better. And that's what it does. I mean, guys get good early. I watched that since I was a boy. The dudes you could play with men at a very young age and dominate men. By the time I was 16, I was giving men trouble. I remember I tip dunked and I was about 17. I tip dunked over a dude who had played at Western Michigan. This dude was in his 20s. And I remember and he was about 6'5", but I tip dunked on him. And when I dunked it, when I came down, I like bumped him. It was like he was under me. And so like when I came down, I knocked him down and he tried to fight me. My boy, like it was his gym. And so, that was one thing he couldn't have. And he jacked him up. Yeah, I had to give him a couple to go with it, but we had to put him out the gym. This old cat. I'd be seeing him on Facebook. I'm like, remember I dunked on you? We had to put you out the gym. 6'5". No. I seen one game where the receiver, where is it? You have the overtimes. NFL, this is the year of the overtimes, definitely is. Where the receiver had his hand on the ball without gripping. Oh yeah. I mean, you can see what they do, like when they want to fumble and stuff. Like I watched a fumble, and it was almost like it was a repel because the dude had the ball, and then just something happened, and the ball just like he lost control of the ball. He had it like this, and it just something happened, and all of a sudden the ball is moving next to him. So I don't know what he did, but I don't know. NFL draft is looking way weak this year, and the NFL draft too. 6'6" power forward winning MVP is not believable. Exactly. He went into the league about 280, 290, and he only like. I was talking to my boy. My boy ran into him in the airport. My boy is 6'5", and he was like, "Yeah, Charles wasn't taller than me. He wasn't tall. I mean, look at him on the Lip Dream Team, because I like the best picture. If you think Jordan is 6'6", Dr. J is 6'6". If you think Jordan is 6'6", look at the rookie year of Jordan, where that picture of him and Dr. J. Dr. taller than him, and Dr. J only 6'6". So Jordan about 6'5" and something. My boy was the Globetrotter, Tyrone. Him and Jordan had a picture, and Tyrone 6'8", and I mean Tyrone like three. I mean, it was like one head here and one head down here. This was the difference in the two. He was that much taller. So and Barkley was shorter than Jordan, like that Olympic where he's saying be like Chuck or be like Mike. Yeah, you could see that he was shorter than him. The dark winter is finally upon us. You see the smallpox narrative already. Oh, and you see on this thing where today they added a new name to you. You know, they gave you a new name of fear today. Did y'all notice that? They brought a new name out. And then when you saw the little L Fauci, he's reading the script. You could see he's reading. He's giving a response, but you could see that he's 100% reading, 100%. Reading the script. Well, why won't that do that? Well, this is irritating. This won't come off. That is going to be irritating. I can't click that off. Oh. Wow. There we go. Wow. Barkley was 6'4". Google has him at 6'6". Yeah, he ain't 6'6". Barkley ain't 6'6". Barkley is not 6'6", because Jordan ain't 6'6", and Barkley taught shorter than him. I am eating raw spinach and roasted turkey to enhance my Black Jaguar energy. Gosh, I ate a bunch of iceberg lettuce, and then I had some small was it kale they call it? Yeah. We're living in the Truman Show. Yeah, Sean, in a way we are. Australia ordered 14 doses for people, so it's 2 a year over 7 years. Oh, that's the first time I heard that. Wow, I've never heard that before. Yeah, you see they come up with a new name, and it's always I mean, that's the thing. It's a fear program over and over again. It's a different fear program, and so that's why they came up with the new name. It's like, well, it's more dun dun dun. That's how they want to hit you with. They want to hit you with the dun dun dun. Couple things I did want to mention before I forget. Um, yeah, so they trying to see. This is what they really want to do. They really want to limit people coming into stores. In a way, they want to kill stores, mall front stores, big box stores. That's what this smash and grab is really intended to do, to kill these businesses in a way. And so here we had two where people, you know, see what it does is when people see stuff on TV, we have mimics. Remember, it was the mimic could change into anything. The mimic. Well, we have people that's doing the smash and grabs here, and I guess two local Best Buys. And remember, we got the Mall of America here, so this shit's got to terrify them. That controlled gangs. But the thing about it is, the parking problem at the Mall of America. You're not going to be able to park just in these lanes because it's by itself. So with the Mall of America, you either going to be stuck in the ramp or you're going to be in one of the smaller parking things, but it's easy to box up. Really, it would be easy to bottleneck them in the Mall of America because it's only, even though it's multiple ways in and out, it would be easy to bottle people up. It'd be easy. So, I got another. Oh no, I'll tell this story. And so this is a story that's interesting, and this is a story that shows you that the price of fame, they can trigger people. They can trigger people. Now we had a player named Emerson Griffin. Emerson Griffin got traded to the Cowboys. He bounced around, went to somebody else, came back. But when he was here before, he had an incident where he was tripping out. This dude was at home and he was tripping out. They kind of gave him a game off, brought him back in. And here's this guy that's probably 6'5", 6'6", all pro player at times. But he called 911 to report an intruder. Now, intruder in his house. You a pro player and you ain't got pistols? It was like I was watching, again, I'm going to say this, I'll get back to the Griffin story, but I was watching Yellowstone again. So this dude, I don't know why he owed this money. I ain't caught that part, but this dude owes money. So they go to his grandfather's house. His grandfather is on a farm. Do you guys dig me? He's wearing bib overalls. And these two dudes just get out of a truck on his farm and beat the shit out of him. And I'm thinking, so, if I'm on my own property, two dudes come, I don't know, they not stopping, I would shoot them. I was like, this dude is on a farm. Why aren't you shooting these people? Instead, he just took ass whooping. I'm like, I would have shot him with the quickest. But anyway, so go back to Everson Griffin. So he called that it was an intruder in the house. They said he didn't leave his house for 14 days. You know what kind of tormenting that takes? Now, I don't know if they were gave him something, but what could they give a professional football player? What kind of fear could they put in him where he stays in his house for 14 hours? Don't go to practice. Don't do nothing. Now, I don't know if he got a family. I can't say. But you see the hexes and shit they be putting on these dudes to make you think they're crazy. But this happened to him a few years ago. So. And then this thing, people been saying this. And so I guess I'm going to bring this up. And so they saying young people don't want to have children. Now, my oldest son is 32. Him and his girl, both professionals. They ain't looking to have children. Not now. My next son is 26. His girl is going into her senior year of nursing. She already has her 2-year nursing degree. She's working in a place already. they're not looking. They're both 26. And is that a thing? Young dudes don't want to have children anymore? Now my daughter's 30. The daughter I didn't raise, she's 30, and she has 2 children. Well, she's about to be 31. Next month she'll be 31. She has 2 children. But is that really a thing where you don't want to have children? I can't imagine. I have 8 children. Can't imagine that people don't want to have children. I mean, now maybe we don't have a culture now that people want to settle down and raise families. I mean, that's it's so anti-family. Going back to the movie Claudine, and that was kind of really, what they later wanted to call the welfare queen, which really should have, when Reagan and when they really was attacking melanated people, they really should have went to West Virginia. You want to call that chick a welfare queen, which again was propaganda. Y'all know what you did with that woman, gave her money. But, and I guess that's the problem with today is people don't want to have children to have a family. Like they showing these women just want to have babies by these athletes so they can be rich. And there are women like that. I mean, don't get past Juanita Jordan. Don't think Juanita Jordan was one of them girls looking to date people, looking to date athletes around where athletes hang. I looked at Kirby Puckett. Kirby Puckett was a lame. And he was from Chicago, but he was a lame. He was a lame. You could just tell he wasn't a dude. He wasn't a dude that was used to getting women. He just wasn't. He wasn't that kind of dude. And he met a chick in the club, married her. He later, right before, he got hit. I think he got injured on purpose too, because he got hit in the eye with a baseball. Gave him glaucoma, ruined his career. And then he died fairly young, died in his 40s. And this ex-wife, I used to sit behind her. Pat Mahomes Sr. He got me tickets. I told this story before. Pat Mahomes Sr. got me tickets. We was like first level, third baseline. Had a bunch of family here, and Pat hooked me up with tickets. And he was like, "Was those tickets cool?" And I was like, "I want to sit behind. I want to sit behind Kirby's wife." And he's like, "Oh, you want to sit behind home plate?" I'm like, "Yeah." And a lot of times he ain't have people coming in, So we used to sit. I got to know her pretty well, but she has, it's children now, probably. His children a little older. But and Juanita Jordan got 300 million, but she wasn't no different as a girl that's looking to get a bag. Same thing. Remember, Juanita Jordan got pregnant before they got married. She got pregnant by Jordan. So sorry, I missed some of these comments. Here we go. 2-inch difference isn't that noticeable, but Jordan looks much smaller than Dr. J. Dow Jordan was more than 6'5". Yeah. That picture tells, because there's one where they're both bent over, kind of holding their shorts, and then the next picture they standing right next to each other, and you see Dr. J is taller. I think out in my locker, one of my lockers, I've got it. Yellowstone is a funny show. It is a funny show. It's like in what was considered soft porn in 1980, like if you had the Playboy Channel, the shit that they show on regular TV was soft porn on the Playboy Channel. When they first put the Playboy Channel on, 81, 80, 81, 82, somewhere in there. That was the Playboy Channel, had that dry humping kind of stuff. Now TV does it. Now, our children can watch that shit. Malls are totally dead out here. Nobody in them, basically. Now our mall here is not too bad. I have a local mall. I don't like there's so many, what's funny is they put an outlet center like on the way, like if you're coming south into the Twin Cities, there's an outlet center you would run into before the Mall of America. But there's technically 2 malls that I can go to before the Mall of America. It's like I can hit 2 malls and an outlet before I can go to the Mall of America. And a lot of times I'll be on my way to the Mall of America, unless I'm got my daughter with me and she want to ride some rides or some shit. I'll go to the outlet because just it's that much closer. It's an easier drive and it's closer. The parking is easier. But The other mall, my near mall, they about to tear that motherfucker down and turn it around and just put, storefronts. We already had like where the shootings was, Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center. That was a nice little mall out there, and they tore that down, built a Walmart, and then built the shopping centers all around it. But they tore the mall down. There was a couple shootings, which was probably a way to get rid of the mall. But it was a mall, big mall at one time. Yeah, they're trying to get rid of most of them. Mall of America lost a ton of money during, the closure. The government kind of bailed them out. So, sorry, not completely Truman, but part of it taken away from our spiritual journey and connection to each other. Yeah, separate. Yeah, I agree. It's all about that. It's like I was saying, quantum of science would say it's like instead of going up, they're trying to pull you in to the bullshit instead of you working on self and love. I mean, that's one thing. I'll quote the witch. When the witch said love her above, she's right. I mean, for a witch to put that out there, she was giving truth. Love her above. That's how you got to keep your energy. But she knows. She like, and I'll talk shit about her because I won't personally say her name, but her point is, she says it because she can teach people how to stay in the higher vibration, how to bring abundance to yourself. That's her thing. But what she's saying is the premise is right. You have to keep your vibration in the love. And it's not like that you're in love with everything, but you love everything because everything is life. Everything is the moving picture. That's what she means. Is that you just have love. So often they try to show people that when they're dying, just like when I talk about Doctor Strange, when the ancient one is dying and she says, here I've lived these 1,000 years and I'm trying to steal these moments. Well, we don't have to wait till we die to love the moment, because technically the moment is all you really have. Right now is the moment, and that's all you really have. And so you should love each moment like it is the last moment you've given, because it is the current moment. I mean, it may not give you joy what is happening at the time, but even though then, it's like even when it's bad, it's good because it's life. Why do you think a motherfucker convicted of death would gladly take life? You know, the motherfuckers, why you think they be appealing that shit? They would gladly say, lock me up forever. Lock me up forever. And I'll just stay and chill here. Why do you think that? Because even when it's bad, it's good because it is life. So, uh, okay, a little further. Let me see. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Here we go. Catch up on these. Catch up. Here we go. Crazy Sarge. Hey, what's happening? You can't have a family if your woman is jumping on DS is all on like a pogo stick. Yeah, that's part of the problem too. Hey, Crazy Sarge. Glad is a smart, dumb person if you get me. I've caught where he worked for them, at times, but other times we said this. I've said this before. He put out some good stuff. So at times it's like there's times he's been drawn into the matrix and he pushes the matrix shit. It seems like other times he blinks out of it and he puts some positive stuff out there. Stacy Ray said, I agree with you 1,000%. It's almost cool to get a divorce. Well, they make it easier. PJ says, I remember that witch. Yeah, she's got some YouTube shit. I'm friends with her on Facebook. After she tried to get me to marry her, I've stayed. She's never like made me unfriended her because I get her shit every now and then. But I just like after what she did this summer, she harmed one of the friends. That's why I called her out. I'm like, okay, you win, chick. I'm not fucking with you again. You win. So when I mention her, I generally mention her in a positive vein. I mean, that's whatever her hustle is her hustle. In my town, we're not tearing our malls down. We're just going to build and shopping centers, restaurant, movie theaters, art center, and so on. The moment is the eternal present. Very well put. 18 months, yet this scam continues. Humans are funny. Yeah. It's funny. I'm looking at some land, like 60 some acres. I found a pretty good thing. Like, I'm kind of torn because I still want to do the spiritual school, but this deal with this land is so much a better deal. The prices aren't very different. Um, and it's like I lost out last year. I've said this before. Last year, if everything would have worked out and I could have got this property for 700,000, this same property was worth 1.4. So I really missed out. And so I'm kind of still working with the spiritual school, but another thing came open. So it's 60 some acres with a lake. It's really a good deal. So working on that. But another thing is I'm trying to get this movie complex. I've been working on that, trying to get this movie complex because it's perfect for a type of I can get a lot. It's going to be a lot cheaper than some other things I'm trying to do, but it is a place where I could build a real spiritual center. So, kind of working on that as well. And it's in a prime condition, a prime, beautiful, easy off the highway to get to. Really, it was really thoughtful to where they built it. And so, if I can turn that, so we'll see how this goes. We'll see. With 60 acres, you can still do a school on it. Yeah. No doubt, no doubt. So I'm kind of thinking because I could build on it because it's 60, maybe 65 acres, but it's like two, you would share the lake with one other family. It's like you almost each get half the lake. It's kind of cool. And the lake is only 14, 15 feet deep, but it's big enough to water ski on. So we'll see how it goes. All right. I want to get into a story, and some of y'all may have heard this story, and I just forget of all the weird people that I've come into. So I had to remember the guy's name because I couldn't even remember his name. But you guys will probably remember this story. This story is from shit. Ooh, when did this story come out? Okay, it was before my daughter was born in '6, so it had to be 3 or 4. So in 2003 or 2004, I met one of my two best plugs on getting weed when I hustled weed was in Gary. I had a dude that was just like opened the garage up and said, "Help me get rid of this." That was a great connect. Old friend and really couldn't move it. And I was like, that was great. I just had to go to Gary to get it. But I met this other cat from Lansing. And this cat was maybe I don't know if he's Hispanic. I couldn't really say. But this cat was one of the best connects. The price was great, consistent, just always had the weed. Um, I mean, when he was around, we went through tons. I mean, we just went through so much. This guy was just great, and I got to know him pretty well. And it's like one day all this came just crashing down. Um, my best friend's brother that introduced us, one day he had one of them salams. Remember the Mustang salams? Remember that? Joe Torre had one in one of the movies, but it was called the Salams, I think it was called. Those type of Mustangs. He the day started in Lansing, where my brother is living now, but I was back in Battle Creek. So the day started where they took his car, and that was the start of how the dominoes start coming down. So this girl comes up missing. This girl comes up missing. And the girl is connected to two dudes, at least one boy, one man. The girl is connected to at least one dude. Okay, girl comes up missing. They go to the man, and then they found another dude that was like they kind of linked him to her too. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And then one day they get a search warrant, and they just meticulously go through, and they got the UV light on in his house. And the UV light, like the house had old ass wallpaper, like Paisel design, that old Paisley design, that kind of stuff. He had that old type of If you can remember the wallpaper, like when you would touch it, it like stuck out a little bit. It had the little build up parts, like some parts was flat, but the other parts was kind of thick. I don't know if that's some old stuff, but it was kind of like even how this is kind of like, it's not back here, it's kind of, this is in front here. You see, it was that kind of wallpaper like that. And it was real dark red, like maroon like wallpaper. So they had the UV light on it, and they found like a swatch of this big, like the littlest of the littlest. And they did it, and it was this chick's blood. It was this chick's blood. Now, this was a dude I personally knew. Matter of fact, I ran into a dude that I used to work with that knew this motherfucker. His name was John. I'm gonna tell his whole name because this motherfucker's never getting out. But his name was, you can look this up, John Kehoe. Kehoe. Yeah, John Kehoe. And I don't know like the why of what happened to this chick, but I will tell you what happened to her. So it was just two dudes. So they go into John's house. They find a little swab of her blood. So it's John and another dude. John is just not saying nothing. The other dude broke, and he told on John to get off. He told on John. And this is the story he told. Now, this is a motherfucker I used to deal with, that I knew, kicked it with. Now, it was a couple different stories out. One story was that John couldn't get rid of her. The other story was she was pregnant by John. I don't know which one is true. But what they did is they killed her. And when they killed her, where John lived was he had a bunch of land. They apparently cooked her. They burned her alive, but they cooked her. And this dude and John both supposedly, this is what the dude testified, that they both ate some of her. When they was cooking her, that him and John both ate some of her. Now, John, these was never John's words, but this is what was reported, that they cooked this chick, and what they found, what they found was smaller than this. It was smaller than this, what they tested. Now, this was this shit like Amazing Stories or whatever they used to do, the news things. You can find this. And I'm pretty sure it was John Kehoe. I was trying to think. I think that's the name if you want to look this story up. But it happened in Lansing, Michigan, and this was the Connect of Connect. But this is supposedly what happened to her. And this is what the other dude testified. And they gave John life. There's no capital murder. That's why that show, Mayor of Kingstown, is so silly. They show capital murder in Michigan. Michigan doesn't have capital murder. And John got life. But yeah, and this is the motherfucker that was cool. I mean, this was a cool motherfucker. He was my best connect ever. And then when they took my boy Eric's, when they took his brothers, they took that Mustang. That shit seemed like all the dominoes. I never got caught up in any of this, but it was like we're watching this shit on the news, and then the shit goes to trial, and we're like, damn, this is our guy, and this is what came. Now, John denied that they did all that. He said the other guy did. He said the other guy got her pregnant, the other guy killed her, and the other guy burned her on his property. That was John's story, which was very weak. So I don't know what made me think about that, but this is a motherfucker that I used to kick it with that was super cool. I mean, he really was super cool, and this was some gory shit that came out about John. I was trying to remember his name. I can barely remember what he looks like. It's been so long ago. But yeah, it was fucked up. It really was. It was fucked up. Hey, Eternal Life, how you doing? Thank you. We'll be assisting boxing coach at the Duncanville Boxing Academy. Oh, that's positive. That's a positive. Okay. I'm hip of school wallpaper. I am hip of school wallpaper. Oh, this wallpaper, it was that ugly paisley-like stuff. It was just, and it would be thick. Like you touch this, like the design pattern was thick. Yeah, it was a messed up story. Yeah, this was in Lansing. Yeah, right. Yeah, PJ Rose. That was her name. Yup. Rose. Yup. Rose. Rose was her name. And that was the story. You know, the other dude said John got her pregnant or John wanted to break up with her. And again, this wasn't a crack situation. He just sold weed. You know, this was just a crack situation. Like even me, crack kind of went away. Like even though the crack went around by the 90s, it was like the business wasn't really like in the 80s was when the business really you could make a lot of money without having to just sit somewhere all the time. So that was really kind of because I bought my house in 88. So I peaked and got my house. And that was where, you know, and I never really was a crack person. It was powder. I had more success with powder than crack. But weed was always something I just could always steadily do. But yeah, named Rose, PJ. Yeah, and I knew him, John. I think that Kehoe, I was trying to remember his name because it was some people in Kalamazoo that had that same last name. But yeah, in Lansing. Yep. Yep. He might have been accountable. He might have been, I don't know. Yeah, but a girl named Rose, that was her name. There was pictures of her. If you can find the newscast, because whatever that channel was, that it was some channel that used to do thriller like shows. Yeah, and I think it was John Kehoe was his name. I was trying to remember. They need a show on villains called "What Would You Do?" Exactly. Sounds so surreal. Being your connect. Yeah, that shit. We was crushed. I mean, really, it was like we were crushed. If you can imagine going through tons and then it's just like stops. It's like just as I said, as soon as they took that Mustang, it was like all that other stuff came behind. Now, my boy's brother that introduced us, he got caught up not in that, but he got caught with something. And I'm trying to even think of what his name is. Can't even think of my boy Eric's brothers. I can't think of his name. But something else happened to him. He didn't do much time, but something else happened to him. But yeah, Rose was her name. I could have used to remember what she looked like, but I never met her. Oh, that's his name. Okay, John Kehoe. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I met a dude here that knew him. And I was like, how you know John? And he was like, the dude I met here was into cars. He was selling cars. Like they would chop up cars and stuff. It was a Hmong brother I met here that knew John. He was like, he's like, you from Michigan? And he threw John's name out there. And I'm like, you know John? And we got to talking about it. He didn't even know about all that. He had dealt with John and he didn't even know about all that because I guess he had family or something in Michigan, but he knew John. And yeah, that was crazy. And that hurt, you know, that hurt like that hurt. It was such a great connection that when he went down, that hurt. That really hurt. It didn't make like things didn't get hot or nothing. You know, it never came out to my friend or myself. As I mentioned, my friend's brother, he caught a little of that heat, but it was for something else. But I just remember when he called me, he's like, man, they took my brother's car. What you think? And I'm like, man, I don't know. It just didn't sound good. And then this other stuff come out that John got arrested. And I was like, damn. And that really did hurt. But it's amazing just this kind of people that you can run into and you just never know. He was the most low-key, just a laid-back dude, you know, just like he didn't even know us and put us on. He didn't even know us. He knew my friend's brother, but he didn't know me. He didn't know my other friend. He didn't know Eric. And the dude just like put us on. And I mean, we were like swell, really was. So I was thinking about that earlier. I got up to see the basketball hoops on the loading dock of the Staples Center. I was doing event security. I could definitely see there's some magnetic machinery that connects. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In the pro games, you definitely can see it. Because to sit under the basket ain't that expensive. I think the last time I sat under the basket, we got seats for like 60, $70. And we sat like third row up. But you can see it. You can see the show business. Like when you go live, especially football, like you don't see, when you sit at home, you don't see TV timeouts. Again, when I played college football, my last 2 years, all the games was televised. Like the year we won the Gold Bowl, and I guess I've been 80 season, every game was televised. So I knew about TV timeouts from, playing in games where we had them. And it really is like you just sit standing there. It's like you just like you'll make a play, get out of bounds or something, and then everybody standing there, and then they tell you, the TV's back on and you play. So it's really kind of, but you see the that it's entertainment more when you're live. Yeah. Rose Lammer, that was her name. Rose Lammer. Okay. She disappeared in 93. 93. Wow. It was 93? Okay. Could have been 93. Wow. 93. Yeah. Let me see. Brennan was born in 9. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I could see that being back then. Trying to correlate events. Yeah. Because my oldest would have only been 93. He'd have been 4. Yeah, my oldest would have been 4. So could have, I guess I was. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Wow. That's what is that? 20, 27, 28 years ago? Wow. Yeah, she did. So 93. Okay, I was 10 years off. 93. Okay, yeah. John probably didn't do it. Set up any underlying reason to see if televised the story. I just can't believe anything I see now. It just looking at his nature. I mean, he was never too high, never too low. Like, cause Eric would always bullshit with the money. That's why I was like, man, you buy what you want to buy. I'm buying what I want to buy. And John, even when Eric would bullshit with the money, he never was like, he was always low key, never like, was tripping. Like he was like, he would front him with a bunch of shit. If Eric was short of the money, he would still always front Eric. I preferred to just buy shit from him. But he was just the most low key guy, and it hurt. It really hurt. It did. It was like that was the connect that connects. Never found anybody that was like that afterwards. Never. John was so cool. And then to find a dude here that knew John, one of the Mung brothers knew him. So yeah, it was a sad story. I mean, it really was. It was like kind of unbelievable. Kind of, really unbelievable shit. Like, especially somebody somebody that ain't a fiend or nothing. He wasn't a fiend. This dude's so weed. He was, and I was thinking he went to college too. He was still going to college. He was either, I want to say he was still going to Michigan State. I think John was still going to Michigan State. If I remember right, I'm pretty sure he was going still to state. So this dude was really laid back, just low key dude. And I didn't think he did it. Looks like you notice that when a game is close and it's less than 5 minutes left in the game, the refs don't throw their flags as much. Oh my goodness. Did you see the Oklahoma State game? Did anybody see that? They let number 13 run a damn near a 60-yard run. I thought they was going to let Oklahoma win. This dude ran. It is like at the end of the play, the receiver clearly held on the dude. I mean, right in front of everybody, the receiver held, and the DB's like this. Yeah, they let a lot go. Michigan, it was only one turnover. Michigan had the one turnover, but it was a call. It was a holding call though at the end of the game that kind of hurt Ohio State. Ohio State was judged, and then looks like John is out of jail. Oh, looks like John is out of jail. Really? Wow. Okay. They let John go. Okay. Then they must have put it on that other dude. Wow. Looks like John is out of jail. Wow. Okay. Well, shit, 26 years. Murder used to be, life used to be considered 20 years. So imagine that. Yeah, that's 27, 28 years ago. Well, let me see. What is that? 93? I don't think it was a while before I think they discovered it. It was like, so I imagine it was a year or two went on. So I don't think they went to court in 93. They probably went to court 2 years later, probably in 95. So it wasn't like immediately when she disappeared. It was a little later. But it was like something this big they caught them on. It was less than this. They did they went through the house with the the UV light, and that's how they caught him. But yeah, the guy from Lansing. Do you see the great news I put in the chat? Yeah, I did. Congratulations, Edward. Congratulations. When CP3 made it 3, it looked so fake. The ball went through the hoop like a raindrop. Yeah, I don't have it. I get entertained. Suns was making rig shots, and the Suns, CWE, the Suns are on a 16 game winning streak. So, hey, Liquid Fire, how you doing? I've been watching your videos on my TV. Can't comment, but I'm here. Okay. John is coming to see you. He can come see me. He was cool. He was cool. I like John. I can't really say about all that other shit. It didn't seem like it to me. Some of the testimony I read seemed like it was the other dude. And the other dude, because the other dude was kind of fiendish, just I talked to a couple people and it was like the other dude was kind of fiendish and a hanger on her. And he turned on John. It was like John was, this dude was a nice dude. He really was a nice dude. Again, can't really say, but he was a cool guy. I like John back then. Research the trial began in 97. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, it was a while. And we was rolling. It was a while. Yeah, that would make more sense. Okay. 97. Yeah, it was a while. It was a while before, because I remember when his car got taken, when Eric's brother's car got taken. I want to say his name was, can't remember his brother's name. Damn, can't remember Eric's brother's name. But I just remember he called me and told me the car was taken. That's Salim Mustang. It wasn't a regular Mustang, it was a Salim. It had like the roll bar in the back, had the kit on it. So one of them. And that was like when that happened. Who you got, Georgia or Alabama? I think Georgia beat Alabama, and that's going to knock them out. Georgia beat Alabama. Alabama won't be in the playoffs. John said he want to talk shit about me. Do you think by the time people catch on to this plan, they will be on to the next plan? Yeah, that's kind of how they do it. Kind of like they showing a new Matrix. It's like, okay, like I was saying about quantum of science, you see times where he gets pulled back into the Matrix. So, even a dude like him can get pulled back into the Matrix and be preaching Matrix shit. So they'll like right now it's about fear and control. They really want communism here because the people that control this country, that's what the people that really make the decisions in the world prefer communism. Socialism, communism. They prefer that. It's easier. They prefer, it's the same people that talk about how bad they were treated in Germany, but yet in the countries that they run, that's how they treat the people. Don't think that the Chinese run communist China because the Chinese didn't invent communism. Remember, the Chinese put all them Catholics and Christians out of China. But they let the communists come in. Isn't that some shit? They put the Catholic Church out, Christians out, but they let the communists come in. Dope. Mao Zedong. Because they got little help he got help from both sides. Americans, what ended up happening is Americans backed Chiang Kai-shek, I think is his name. You see him in American Gangster. That's who what is his name? Out of New York, the American Gangster. That's who he gets his heroin from. It's Chiang Kai-shek, because that's who America backed. America backed Shek. The Mo was backed by Russia, and so he adapted communism. But again, Russia is a Jewish faith state. They talking about communism? Don't believe? Yeah, okay. Them Jewish faith people believe in something. But Russia is a Jewish faith state. It ain't just Israel. And that's where Zach Hubbard never admits that, never talks about that. Russia is a Jewish faith state too. Take a melanated person outside of Moscow. See how they treat it. Not treated too well. If you ever get time, watch that Metaverse ad. One of the most disturbing ads I've ever seen. Yeah, I did catch it. I did catch that too. I am looking at it like this. Yeah, it's fun to watch anymore. It's not fun to watch, but it's good to make money. Yeah, I knew. That's why when my man I play pickleball with, we're talking about bet. I'm like, how much? And then his son was like, can I get in this? I'm like, how much for you? How much for you? And yeah, I hit them both because I was like -8 at Michigan at home. Just didn't seem likely they was gonna win that much. And after that first drive, I was like, my money is secure. My boy is there, and he's texting me and stuff. We talking back and forth, and he's sitting there in the end zone. So, but yeah, that's what I do. I bet. You think they prefer communism over fascism? Well, the difference is fascism is basically the corporations are in charge. That's really what America is more. We more of a fascist system than anything else. We're not a democratic system. We're more fascist because again, what the corporation, what is it, 1890 something when America became a corporation. So we've been a fascist country for a long time. I mean, all these elections and stuff are basically rigged elections, all of them from the very beginning. I mean, the interesting thing about what was it? What's his name? London Borough, the first dude to fly across Egypt, Lenny, where the Lindy Hop dance, Lindenberg, Charles Lindenberg. So when that HBO show on, I think it was called Killing Lindenberg or whatever, where Lindenberg became president and shit and was really throwing down on the Jewish faith people. But when they showed exactly kind of some of what Trump was saying about taking boxes. I mean, some in that Lindenberg thing, they were showing how they was just throwing the whole machines away. Wasn't counting the votes or not, just taking the machines and throwing them away, burying the machines and shit. And in none of these elections, they put in who has paid the price. That's who they put in. And you see it's not long, like this Omar chick from here. This Omar chick, they say she married her brother to get into America. She used to be in the Somalian army. We know that. She was a Somalian soldier. But as soon as she could, she met a European brother and she's with a European dude. And he was doing all her publicity or whatever. And she threw about $500,000 at him under the guise he worked for her. But yeah, so I mean, it's a system of corruption built on corruption and old boy stuff. I mean, why would a senator get to stay in there 6 years, but they make the Congress, which is more of the people, every 2 years? They constantly turn them in a turnstile, but senators become a lifetime situation. How come a president is only supposed to serve 8 years, but you got these people in the Senate 30, 40 years? And remember, they busted up the states from doing that. The federal government was behind term limits for states because they didn't like dealing with these powerful people in the states. So they tricked most of the states to put term limits on their people. But there ain't term limits on the U.S. Senate. You get these people to go in and wasn't wealthy. And by the time a senator been in there 5 years, by the time the senator is in there his first 6 years, he's rich. People that go in there not rich, but he's rich by the time he's his 6 years. I mean, look at their finances. Look at Pelosi. Look at how much money she gets out of this deal they just did. She gets a park built. The dude from Kentucky, he puts $1 billion in Kentucky. You think it's anybody newcomer that can come guarantee that he can pull $1 billion out of the feds? And you wonder why that old motherfucker's still in there? Because he can pull $1 billion out of the feds every year he's in and put it in Kentucky. That's hard to beat. But it's crooked. And we see the pork money, the favoritism. Do you think they prefer? So I think the Jewish faith people like communism. They prefer communism. They prefer that they're in the shadows and the state runs everything. Not see, under fascism, it's corporations run everything. Matter of fact, it goes back into like I was saying about Yanceyville or even post-serial. You know, when Post built his factory, Post built Post Edition, and everybody bought their houses from the corporation, or they moved in. When you work for Post, you moved in to the Post Edition. You didn't get paid regular money, but you bought the stuff from the Post store, and you living in the Post house. I imagine you had to get your water and your trash and your electric even back then. But that's fascism, technically. Everything, you getting everything, even your health and everything from the corporation. That's basically fascism. Yanceyville in Greensboro was the same thing. They was making, the yarn industry. Where communism, the state takes over everything, kills most instances. Like China is under Buddhism, Hinduism, and so they never believed in Christianity anyway. They put them out. I mean, look at that shit after they got that heroin and opium out, because that's what they did. Is they got everybody hooked on opium. And if you look back during the opium wars, look back at some of them pictures. Motherfuckers lay down and smoke. It's like that's the thing I don't like about the hookahs. The hookahs remind me too much of the opium kind of shit. Because opium, you lay down and smoke. Because heroin gives you them kind of dreams. The hookah is the same way, though. You could lay down and smoke hookah. So that's why I don't really care for them. Plus, they for hash. They ain't for tobacco. They was built for hash. You put a big block of hash in a hookah, and then you put the heating element on top of all that, and you have all the hoses for hash, not tobacco. They was made for hash. They was used to be called hash pipes. Pelosi has a beautiful home in San Francisco. United States became a private corporation in 1871. Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you very much for that. Georgia versus Michigan national championship game. So 8-win. Get ready to live stream that and give away my shout out in the matchup. So you got Georgia versus Michigan. Well, what I was looking at is if Michigan goes to 2, Ohio State's going to be out. Michigan goes to 2. Alabama lucky to win tonight. Alabama's lucky to win tonight, but Alabama still got to play in the SEC championship against Georgia, isn't it? And so they're not going to beat Georgia. So they're going to be knocked out. So you're going to have probably Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Cincinnati. I don't think is going to move off 4. So Michigan is going to end up 2 or 3. And Michigan's going to have to play 2 or 3 play each other. So Georgia's going to play Cincinnati and destroy them. I'll say they'll be able to score on Georgia. Maybe Georgia's got one of the best defenses but looking at it as an event, they want to destroy Cincinnati because they don't want Cincinnati to be in there. They don't want any small school to ever win a national championship. I mean, now with the way people are transferring, and you let a small school win the national championship, they're already struggling because they to keep college sports viable, they had to let people transfer at will. That was the only way they was going to make it viable. But they dread small schools winning it all. They dread that because then they're like, "Why I need to go to this big school when I can compete in this smaller school?" So that might be right. In Georgia, Michigan last won under Mallory. Wasn't it Mallory the coach when they tied the national championship? That was the last time Michigan won it. Hey, Anise, thank you for joining. The Boxer Rebellion, China, 1900, first historical opium war. The Christian churches were mule stations. Yeah, they put their asses up out of there. And ain't many places did that. It's like, that's why I bring up Isabella. Isabella is one of my favorite characters of history because she put a boot to ass on the Jewish faith people. She was one of the few people that did that in this history. where she went after him. Let me read this. Let me grab this and read this. Give me a second. Oh. All right. Let me read this shit. Find it. See if I can find. Oh, it's gone. How is this shit going? It is though. It is gone. How? Damn. I wanted to use it and this shit is gone. Should be here. Don't know how it got erased, but apparently it got erased out my phone. But anyway, I remember a lot of it. So Christopher Columbus is not a real person in history. Technically, that's a title, but the person's name was Christos Colon. Like remember, in The Godfather, I think their name was Colon. They used that name like Colon. So his name was Christophe Colon. What you see on the Papa Bull is where you see Christopher Columbus in Spanish is a forgery on the Papa Bull that was given by the Pope at that time. So he was a Sephardic Jewish person, born in Portuguese. That shit born in Geneva is all a lie. And this is what's funny. This is why it was all a lie. This is why they all said this shit, is because they didn't want, the Catholic Church did not want a Jewish faith person to get credit for going to the first European to go to America. And matter of fact, not only that, the first European to step on American soil was also a Jewish faith dude. Now, Carameo has shared that before because he talks about how the dude could talk. Again, this dude was this same person that came on could speak 5 or 6 different languages. And he was like, well, they sent him because he spoke Hebrew, and Hebrew was like what they no, see, that's dogma. Carameo's into dogma. And so they didn't want to share that. So that's why the Columbus thing came in. And then Italians, even in black and white, or even in silent talkies at first, or silent films, Italians was looked at as gangsters. So Italians tried to find a way to take away the gangster shit, and they brought in Columbus. Yeah. So that's a part of history that's all a lie. He was a Jewish faith person, and I've been saying that. When the change in the NCAA rule to allow athletes to make money off their likeness, you don't think that'll revive all the big university and sports programs? No, not really. What we're seeing, check this out. It was a dude. Wow, I'm glad you mentioned that. It was a dude in his 7th year of college that played a game. 7th year of college, still eligible. The quarterback for Brigham Young. The quarterback from Brigham Young is 23 years old right now. 23 and got another year eligibility left. So you're seeing almost what happened after World War II. Because, if you look at sports after World War II, especially football, why Army became a powerhouse, you had a lot of these dudes that was, older dudes that went back into college where their careers was cut short for 4 years by World War II. And so after World War II, all these dudes, these older dudes went into playing college sports, and they was dominating. Like you look at Doc and Blanchard from Army. I think they were 2 years in a row Heisman Trophy winners. But these was older dudes that fought in World War II. And so in World War II, you saw a bunch of older people. We're going to start seeing that. That's what we're going to see. Is we're going to see dudes staying in college longer. Like they're giving 5th year of eligibility. I don't know how, because they showed a cat the other day. They said this is his 5th year eligibility. Most of the time, you've got to get a red shirt, either a red shirt, a year red shirt, or a medical red shirt. I don't know how this other guy got, a fifth year. It didn't sound like he got redshirted. So that's another thing they're going to do is they're going to kind of let these dudes play a little longer to make it viable. So I'll say yes and no with that. Cincy is just there to make history in a tryout for them in the Big 12. They're going to that conference in a few years, and the Big 12 is trying to keep their Power 5 status. Yeah. Because a lot of teams wanted to go into the Big 10 too. They were afraid some of them teams was going to the Big 10 and be just a couple conferences, super conferences. What was the deal with Kyle Kuzma pink sweater? Yeah, that was that shaming thing of the dress. It was easy to see it was a dress. But remember he's from Kuzma's from he was with the Lakers. I think Kuzma, didn't he play in Utah or something? And so that was his dress ritual. That was his dress ritual, his shame ritual. That's what it was. Got land, think of Indian. Belly full. Got land, thinking Indian. Please recommend some books that debunk Christopher Columbus. Oh, it's this paper. It was a paper. Matter of fact, now I always talk about Isabella, Queen of Spain, as one of my great references. They lie in that book. I'm sorry I can't tell you any other books, but I'll try to find that article where you can get that paper because I don't know what happened to it because I had it and I look at my phone now, it's not there. But some of the stuff Isabella, Queen of Spain, debunked. Some of it she also lies about because they say that they tell you that he was from a town from outside of Geneva. That's what her book says. And her book says that, well, some things that never made sense is, okay, one thing you can look up, and Carameo gives a couple books that he finds. But one thing you also find is Jewish faith people paid for Columbus to make the first trip. Now, they wouldn't have done that for an Italian person. They wouldn't have done that for Italian. The Jewish faith people would not have paid for Italians to go anywhere. So that's one thing that knocks it out. But even in Isabella, Queen of Spain, I caught some lies in her book. It was like they pretty much tell you they shelving for 2 years. And then after they make some headway beating the Moors, they helping. So Isabella, Queen of Spain is some of it. I'll tell you another book is that book, the book that came before Columbus. You can pick up a little bit of Portugal and how we know that Portugal was already going to the Caribbean. And that's why really when Columbus came back, he stopped in Portugal before he went to Spain. He stopped at Portugal first. So, Anise, I'd have to look some stuff up for you, but yeah, I got your email. Yeah, I'll look that up though. Yeah, because that paper was good. I wish I hate I lost it because it was pretty good. Michigan last national championship was in 97. The year the only defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy was Charles Woodson. Okay, 97. Yeah. Because they won it like in the 30s or 40s, like when their first Heisman winner won it. Tom Harmon. When Tom Harmon, Tom Harmon's son is what? UC, what's his name? The TV show about the SEAL, no, the TV show about the Navy's intelligence unit. What is that called? But Tom Harmon's son played in that because his son played at UCLA or USC. Harmon was on that TV show. But that might be his grandfather. That might be his grandfather that won the Heisman. But you look up Harmon, he was on that CBS show, whatever Harmon. NCIS, yeah. That's a Harmon. He used to play college football. But that is his grandfather, I do believe. That makes sense with older athletes in college sports. A lot of folks take a year off or preparatory transfer or perpetual transfer. Even grad students can be athletes. College sports may evolve into a semi-pro status. Yeah, Mark Harmon. Yeah, Mark Harmon. Thank you, Anish. Yeah, Mark Harmon. Yeah, Tom Harmon, I think, was his grandfather. But that's what it has to be. I mean, that's the only way it's going to survive. Like I'll tell you what was odd, and this was kind of funny. We had a player that transferred in Um, was it our Gold Bowl year? I don't know if it was our bowl year or the year after. I can't really remember. We had a dude we called Carl Eller, and this dude was old. Like we all 19, 20. This dude was 27, 28. And what was funny is everybody was born like you was hearing 60, 61, 58, 59. Like everybody was pretty much born like between 59 and 61 at that point. And Carl Eller had to tell his date of birth that he was born like in 52, 53. He was like 7, 8 years older than most of us. So he was almost 10 years older than me and was still playing college football. It was a couple older dudes though. Rigsby, it was a dude named Rigsby. He was an older dude. Rigsby was probably, when I was 19, 20, was probably 24, 25. So it's not Gibbs from NCIS. Yeah, Mark Harmon. Yep, yep. Yeah, look up Tom Harmon. He wore 98. He was the first Heisman winner, but I think he won the national championship when he was at Michigan. Yep. What is more powerful, the mind or the heart? The heart. The heart. The heart has a bigger field. The mind doesn't really. Far as your energetic field pushes out of the heart. So yeah. So like really, how would I want to say this? What you'll feel from a person is you'll feel his heart energy before even okay. Think of what is the word I'm looking for? Like if you're emotional and you feel, you feel pain of people, that comes from the heart. That comes from being able to connect with people's hearts more than mentally being with people. Not like seeing people hurt and stuff, or being able to tell when a person is up and down. Most of that would come from the heart, at least in my capacity. I find that comes before I'm starting to ping the person mentally. Now,